Welcome to another talk on our Inspiring Conversations series with myself, Bindhu Unny. I am a leadership coach, facilitator, and marketeer. The idea behind these inspiring conversations is to give us a new perspective, a new idea, something that will help us as we go through this interesting or rather challenging time in our life. So today on our Inspiring Conversations, we are having a talk with Vibhuti. Vibhuti is a corporate trainer, public speaker, artist, and poet. Hi, Vibhuti.
Hi, Bindhu.
And Vibhuti has over 12 years of experience in this field, motivating and inspiring many, many people the world over. I'm really thrilled to have you and have a conversation with you in our Inspiring Conversations, Vibhuti.
I am super excited for this.
Same here, same here. So while I introduced you, I talked about four very, very variedly different, yet seemingly very correlated topics around your name. So it's corporate trainer, public speaker, artist, and poet. So can you just kind of give a brief about all of these bubbles around you?
So since I found my calling, which is during my post-graduation, to become a public speaker and a corporate trainer, I had absolute clarity then that where I am heading, in what direction. So as far as my profession is concerned, I was very clear. But along the lines, I was always interested in art. Though in early days, I used to only sketch. And I evolved as an artist later and moved on into wall paintings, as you can see my background. So I don't do canvas paintings, I only paint walls. And I love this part. And now it is getting actually integrated to corporate training as well. A lot of creativity workshops are coming. So that's about the art and getting it integrated to my corporate training world and public speaking world. Then poetry came along also around the same time during post-graduation, just as a hobby. And I started recording my poems online. That is completely something which brings a lot of joy to me. I always say it's like a venting out zone for me, because all my poems are I channelize my emotions there. Sadness, happiness, anger on social issues, whatever it is, it just comes out in poetry. So that's the short story around poetry. So yeah, I mean, I feel that each of these areas are not only interconnected because they are part of me, but also from one part, I carry along the enthusiasm to other. So for example, if I'm doing a poetry video today and I got a lot of love from the listeners and people who see, and if I have a workshop tomorrow, of course that energy I carry forward, isn't it? So that's why I thought that I'm never going to leave these.
Nice.
One more thing which I love doing is dance, and which I never learned, but let's see where that gets, a form.
Yes, I think anybody can learn dance at any point in time. So coming from somebody who loves, so passionate about dance, trust me, you just can. As long as it's a sense of rhythm and a love for music, and it comes. Yeah. I love the background that you've done, and knowing you wherever you go, that's like your signature that you leave. And I love the messages that you have in your just behind you as your background. So it's very, very inspiring. Awesome. So what I see is that you have these different creative channels of outlet. And it could be, like you mentioned, whether it's whatever emotion, whatever you're going through comes out through these channels, which is great. And that brings me to what we want to talk about. How do you think people can survive and thrive through these really challenging times that we're all facing? Like, I'm in Dubai, you're in India, and across the world, we're all facing the same thing. Very interestingly, it's a very unique phase. So how do you think somebody can survive with whatever they have in their pocket and their skill set?
So being flexible as a core. A read this quote long back that the most influential people in the world are the most flexible people in the world. So flexibility is something which is the key element here to survive any tough times, be it COVID or any other pandemic or any other natural calamity that comes, which is definitely not in your control, isn't it?
Yes.
So there is nothing in your control right now. And it is also about conditioning, that if we are not conditioned well enough, we have not conditioned our brain, our mind, to be able to cope with these times in advance, then it comes like a shock, and it's like you're resisting it because you're not prepared, and there is no room because you're not prepared, you're not conditioned your brain. Right. It is literally like a habit. Flexibility is a muscle, is a habit which we need to condition, so that you cannot build it overnight, because these are ingrained traits which you need to, because if people are, so think about a person who's always lived a planned life. Everything is planned, to-do lists are done in advance, everything is scheduled. Now what do?
It's like,
yeah, it's like a so it is about conditioning. And to all of the people out there who are not conditioned yet for such times, and more than such times, it's about having the trait flexibility. So no matter what comes in, you are just quick and switched on to just adapt and change. Because if you don't, nobody is at loss. You are, isn't it?
Yeah.
Long back, I was reading this book. I can actually say during the time of 2006 and 2007. Thankfully, in the early years of my life, my world opened to these books. And I did not use any of those books like a night read, but going right in with pen and paper and dissecting and decoding each of those books. So, 7 Habits of Highly Effective People by Stephen Covey. In that book, there was one concept, okay, which I held on to develop the trait of flexibility and letting go, because they are interconnected. When you let go of certain things which are not in control, you're able to have that flexibility. When you're holding tight, you cannot be flexible. Flexibility is absolutely opposite of stiffness. So people who are very control oriented, their bodies are also very stiff. You can see very stuck. They will not move very easily, right? So in that book, I picked one trait, many, but this was one of my favorite. It said that on the right, whenever there are situations where you are in a mess, you imagine that you have a circle on your right side, which is circle of influence. Imagine there is a circle on the left side, which is a circle of concern. I added something on my own in that concept that, okay, I'm going to add colors to it because I love colors. Yeah. So I said, my favorite color, circle of influence would be yellow, bright and nice. And this would be something dark and dull, which is black. So he said that whenever there is such times, a time of mess, a time of absolutely chaos, then imagine these circles and ask yourself, where are you looking? Because if I'm looking at the circle of concern, there's no way out. I'm only looking at what's not working, what is not. It is all about what is not in your hands. And whenever you look at the yellow, bright circle of influence, you're looking at, okay, so what is it that I can do? What is it is that in my hands? And then you start looking at solutions.
Yeah.
So this is one concept which I've always used. And to give you an example to everybody. So for example, I've spent 10 years in Dubai. It is mad heat, in those 2 peak months.
Yes, we're getting into that month right now.
And I know, when you get there, even walking from your building to parking, it's like you'll burn. It's that bad. when I use this concept, can I change the weather of Dubai? If I'm looking at the concern and say, oh my God, it's so hot, I have to be in AC all the time. You're in air conditioned and suddenly go out and it's completely opposite. It's heat and, I can't this, I have to do meetings and so much. It's all circle of concern. Can I change the weather? Simple. When I look here at the influence side, can I change the weather? No, I can't. It's not in my hands. So what can I do? What is in my hands? Okay, I can pick an umbrella and walk towards my parking. Very funnily, in one of the workshops, I was giving this example, and a participant said, but what if I don't have the money to buy an umbrella? I said, you know what? Just take a handkerchief or a towel. Walk, it's not about that. It's about when you look here, you get those solutions. So that is one concept I would say one can use.
Right. The circle of influence and the circle of concern.
From the book, 7 Habits of Highly Effective People.
Got it. And I like the way that you painted one in your head really nice and yellow. It's just like the background that you have, and the other one black and dull. So it kind of signifies worry and it kind of closes down. That's the impression that I get. Yeah. So one is solution oriented and one is problem stuck to the problem.
Yeah. And if I can extend this topic, especially flexibility, and because it's huge. See, it's something you need to condition yourself. It is not going to come like this. So the more I was reading these material, I was also preaching these in my workshops. So I wanted to go in depth. When I started actually wall painting in 2000. Probably 2009 was the first wall I painted at my home in my bedroom, so that I thought, okay, nobody comes to the bedroom, let me experiment here. That was the first.
Only I need to see it, so it's okay, whatever comes out of it.
When I looked at it from the bedroom to the hall, I moved and made another painting. When I looked at it, and I remember that I had this awareness that we are living in a rented apartment, and this is going to go. This wall that I've spent hours is going to go.
Yeah.
And that's the moment in 2009 I decided that all I'm going to paint is walls, because that signifies a big letting go and a part of me. Every wall that I'm going to paint is going to go. Yeah. We're going to move apartments. It's going to go. In fact, I've seen hours of my work getting whitewashed in front of my eyes.
How does that feel, Vibhuti, when that happens?
Initially, it was feeling like, oh, it's going, and slowly, it became very liberating. It started feeling that, okay, I don't have to carry canvases all life long wherever I go. I don't have to carry anything. I'm just light. I'm going to go and paint new walls. Everywhere I'll go, I'll attract walls where I'll paint. And maybe there will be walls where I paint and I move away from that, but that wall stays, as you said, as my mark.
True.
Always. Like in a plant, a company called Kalptaru Power Limited in India, in Gandhinagar, they have their plant. And I've painted 4 walls there. Okay. It's the center there, and it's going to go stay there for long.
Yeah, but you're not there all the time, so you've kind of moved away from that. So it doesn't matter. What I'm hearing is it doesn't matter. Either the wall gets whitewashed and you watch it going away, or you move away and the wall remains there. Either way, it's about just letting go. It's just doing your best is what also I'm hearing.
Yes, absolutely.
That's
not holding on to the paintings or the wall or your work, just letting it go. So over so many years, if I painted so many walls, I started painting flexes, big, huge flexes. I mean, in an event called GIFLIF in Bhopal, 36 feet long and 7 feet height.
Okay.
And not one. 3 consecutive days, 3 walls. Every single day, 1 wall of 36 feet long. Okay. And it was a flex. So it is going to get torn after that.
So when you're doing it, you already know that
Yes.
it has a limited
Yes.
impact, and then it's going to be destroyed.
So it is such a profound, what do you say, significant, physically experiential learning for me every time I paint a wall, because I have this thing in my mind that it is here, this wall is here to live a limited period of life and time, and then it's going to perish. And so are we, isn't it?
Yes.
We are here for a limited number of years, then we are going to go.
True.
So it's just a reflection of life for me.
Yeah. And really talking about this will pass, or that nothing is permanent.
Now, when you do something like this regularly, something that you experience of letting go on a regular basis, your subconscious mind is getting conditioned, hardwired around that concept. And that's why it becomes easier when a calamity, a chaos, a pandemic, or any mess in your life when it comes up.
Right, right. So what I'm seeing is that learning to let go while we are in this world, right? Doing small things of acts of letting go actually strengthens the muscle. It's like doing strength training in the gym. You need to go there constantly to strengthen the muscle. It doesn't happen overnight. Similarly, it's about strengthening the letting go muscle as well.
Yeah.
So today, in the context of today, what everybody's facing, what do you think are the smaller actions? And I wouldn't call it smaller or bigger, but what are the things that people can do to practice letting go and strengthening this muscle, so that when we are hit with something like this or any other kind of situation, that it's already conditioned and strengthened, and we just need to kind of use it? What are the things that they can do?
There are lots of things that one can do in these times. And first, I would say, is acknowledging that it's difficult for you. Instead of parking it that, no, I don't want to feel this emotion, I don't want to feel any of this, I would recommend journaling is one. Not just exchanging and venting out with people, but writing your thoughts. When we are speaking about, or when we are venting out an emotion, we go in a loop, because we are in a thinking feeling loop. Yes. We are thinking about it and we're feeling. We're thinking about it and we're feeling, and it can go on and on. But when you're writing it with pen and paper, once you've written, you might not write the same sentence again and again. The loop stops. Journaling is one excellent tool to use. If you can now start the habit of gratitude. So that is another way to, in today's time, which will, really uplift and you'll start looking at, oh my God, I have so much. I mean, looking at the world, if I can, in context of India, the migrant workers who are moving from their permanent bases, or at least their work bases, to their home. There are people who are just stuck walking miles, walking for 20 days, cycling for 10 days, 12 days, reaching to their hometowns. You know what? Yeah. When you see that, I said, oh my God, I'm sitting in my comfortable place. There is air conditioning, there is food, everything is there. So when you get into that gratitude mode, suddenly you start feeling, no. What about people who are there in hospitals fighting the COVID and you are safe? So now gratitude is again a trait, or a feeling, or a habit that needs to be conditioned. So what I've started doing, a small thing, is it's over 1.5 months. I have a son who's 5-year-old and I have a daughter who's 7-year-old, 2 little kids. Every night when we sleep, all 3 of us, there's a little gratitude game that we play. I ask them, you need to tell me 3 things that you want to thank God for today, and you cannot repeat it tomorrow. So you can repeat it day after one from the 3, but you cannot repeat it tomorrow. So every day as we lay down just to say good night, they have to say three things. Now they've started picking up because they can't repeat it every day. Um, and they have started picking up stuff like I'm thankful for the AC. Thank God for the AC. Thank God for the bed. Thank God for my clothes, for food. So the simplest of things. Now, as young lads are as 5 and 7 in their age, now if that habit, I know it will, if it's done for 6 months every single day, they'll be wired to do that.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And where in general sense we fail is we do it one day and we let it fizzle out. But these are not things which you just do. It is every single day.
And that brings me to the point of discipline, right? These things just require the discipline as well.
It is absolutely as like brushing your teeth, eating your food. I mean, you need to get to that kind of conditioning with gratitude.
True. So
Journaling.
Journaling and actually asking the question to yourself and your loved ones about what you're grateful for, and not repeating it, which is nice, because then you're challenged to actually look at the smaller things. You need to kind of really look at it. So which is fantastic. Thank you so much, Vibhuti. So this is 2 simple action tools, but it's a very nice way to exercise our muscle every single day, which is what I think we all need to constantly now be conscious of.
Yes.
Thank you very much for that. If people want to have more information about what you do and what you've talked about, where can they find you?
I mean, in today's time, Instagram is the easiest way, isn't it? So just if anybody wants to find me, go to Vibhuti Duggar. That's my Instagram handle, and you'll find me there. And you can drop a message, or I'd reward for sure.
Super. Great. Thank you so much. I really enjoyed this conversation with you.
Me too. I mean, I was wondering how we are going to end it in 15 minutes, but we we managed to, isn't it? Love.
Thank you.
See you. Bye, Bindhu.
Bye. That was our conversation with Vibhuti, where we are taking away 2 simple actionable tools. One is journaling every day about our thoughts, our feelings, what's going on as we go through our day. And the second one is asking yourself and your family around you, what are the things that we are grateful for? And make sure you don't repeat it over 2 days. Hope you try them. And until we meet next time, stay safe and stay inspired.